A reading from the prophet Isaiah. Arise, shine, for your light is come, and the glory of the Lord is rising upon you. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall rise upon you, and his glory will be seen upon you. And a nation shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes round about and see. They gather themselves together, they come to you. Then you shall see and be radiant together, and your heart shall be all and be expanded, because the multitudes of the sea shall be turned to you. The wealth of nations shall come to you, and they shall show forth the praise of the Lord. Therefore, your gates shall be continually open. They shall not be shut by day or by night, that the people may bring to you the wealth of the nation, and that their kings may be brought to you. For the nation and king that will not serve you will perish. Those nations shall be uttered waste. I will make you officers peace, and you minister righteousness. The sun shall not more be your light by day, neither for brightness shall be the moon give light to you. But the Lord shall be to you an everlasting light, and your God your glory.
This morning's reading is from the Prophecy of the Universal Theocracy. And the man felt the presence of Jamil. His spiritual consciousness became animated by the light of the image of God, and he heard a heavenly voice speaking to the soul of his being. The world labors under division. Each person believes reality is restricted to what is experienced and understood individually. This is not true reality. Nations view the world according to limited ideologies. They impress their laws upon their peoples, believing these laws to be just and right. This is not true law. Religions proclaim diverse theologies and beliefs, and their followers accept this diversity. This is not true religion. Personal, national, and religious views are in themselves diversified. This is the way of rational outlook motivated by physical needs, intellectual reasoning, and emotional beliefs. All these views result in diversification, false ideologies, and incorrect beliefs. No person, nation, or religion can unify the world because of this diversity. Only God can unify the world. But first, the world must be restored, and restoration comes by divine law. When all things are restored by law, then unity will exist. This unity is beyond human comprehension. God's laws are understood only by the Spirit awakened by the light of the image and the Word. This is the truth of it. Who but the restored soul sees the need for unity? Spirit unified with the Spirit is made in the image of God's image. The Word manifesting within the light of the image and heard by the Spirit lives by the law and becomes a living soul unified with God. This is the way of it. Laws made by self or by nations or by religions under which one lives originate from the natural self or from the order observed. These laws are not of God, nor are they found in the light of the image and the Word. The divided self reasons and observes, yet lives outside the light of God's image and word. The law which it perceives or acknowledges as good or right or just stems from the reasoning self and therefore must lead to misfortune, sorrow, and suffering. All laws outside of God, not being of spirit, are born of the very nature sown in discord and disharmony. Though one try with all of one's might to be good, righteous, and just, though one seek peace above all things, though one strive to unify others in concord, whether family, friends, or peoples, the law of nature dictates that separation and independence dominate reason. Everything is set against collective order. Generated natural life outside of the created spirit is set apart. Each is different from the other. There is no accord or amity. All are rivals, for generation demands that the progeny consume the progenitor, the generated living off the generated. All ends in death. The spirit is created by God's light of image and word, and the soul lives by means of the manifesting light and the word uttered. This light is breath and life of soul. Once a spirit is reborn a soul, and that soul is nurtured by God's light, it is unified with God and under divine law. As long as that living soul holds to the way of the law, it has a separate life outside of the natural order and that of darkness. Having its own life, the soul exists by means of the image and the word of God. It reasons on divine things. It observes a divine world separate from the natural world. It sees the reasoning self as a former friend, one who is doomed to die and is looked upon with loving kindness. But that reasoning material self, not identified with God, nor part of his kingdom, is as strange as any animal of the world, something to be viewed for what it is, an aberration of generative powers, not of God. The life of the soul is unity under law. Unless the soul obey the law, it is not of God, and must therefore diversify as the rational being of man has diversified. This is the secret of the way. What rational mind can understand this doctrine? What self or nation or religion can put away its own diversity and separation from the unity of the law? Not one is capable of it, for in following their own way, or that of some rational law or false doctrine, they are as under a spell, enchanted by their own images which they adore. This was the original cause of man's fall into a diversity of images, becoming so many gods of heaven and of earth that reflect mind and dark spirit. They cling not to the hub of the wheel of the law, but grasp the spokes, and with the turning are flung first to the rim, then off into the spaciousness of time, unable to lay hold of the one central hub. The self of a man or a woman longs for immortality of spirit, for the body being mortal must die. Yet the immortal self craves breath and food by which to live. Like the mortal self, it requires nourishment. No man or woman knows the source of spiritual nourishment. Thus, their true self never lives. The wise of olden times spoke of such a nourishment by which the true self gained immortality. That true source is manifest as a divine song uttered from the source of origination, an imperishable breath, a divine hymn, a heavenly word that sings to the soul in glorious light. And when the soul looks to the sun and sees the white light made for its eyes alone, It is quickened to life. It breathes and is one with God. The two eyes meet, the heavenly and the divine, and the music of the word is heard by the ears of the Spirit. The soul meets with the source of soul. The soul returns to the hub of the rotating wheel. Time stops. Space is condensed to a point of merging with another world, and the soul is freed from its bondage. The Son of God ever shines. There is no rising and no setting. Darkness is illuminated. The breathing is motionless. The word is fixed. Life begins. Knowledge ceases, for all is known. The soul never thirsts or hungers. Its consciousness is good. Its form is light. Its being is righteous. Its intellect is just. These four quarters form the one under the law. The non-existent lives in the sun, the golden one. Its food is fire. Its breath is light. The existent lives in the light one. Its food is the image, its breath, the word. The person that is seen in the sun, that is the light. The person that is seen in the light, that is the image. The person that is seen in the image, that is the word. A seed born in the sun spirit, a germ from the sun spirit, a source of being from being spirit, is the cause of the three forms. This was known to the ancients who prided themselves in their knowledge. The unknown becomes the known, yet the known which has become known was never known before. The knowers are dead, the unknowers live. Breath, food, drink, heat, light, self, life. The golden seed of the sun, the diamond germ of the spirit, the being of the being, light, image, word. The self covers itself with truth and is awakened. An egg of two substances impregnated by God, hatching and ascending heavenward. That which is revealed is to be known by the self. God has willed that the self know him. If the self is considerate and wills to know God's will, it will live. The inconsiderate perish. The considerate are empowered by the image and the word. Those who see eat. Those who hear eat. The image and the word are food. By eating, one is nourished and lives. Those who would dine at God's banquet table need practice virtue, grace, humility, courtesy, and decorum. God feeds not the ill-mannered. Good conduct assures a place at the table. Thus, the law is the essential of the considerate soul. For without the law, all things that have a beginning must end. The soul has no beginning and ever lives. To discover this truth is to recover what was lost.